Good afternoon, good evening, good morning to everybody. Welcome to another edition of Sports Bytes. For today, I am joined by my Josa co-host, Miss Cara Malyonga. Cara, kumusta naman? At I believe you're in a bubble.
Yes, Brian. Maraming salamat. Yes, Kana Kiray tuloy. Nakiray ako. Kana Pinay Wrestler Malyonga po for Sports Bites. Brian, I'm here right now, directly reporting from the Kalambabol of Chooks to Go. Nako, namimiss ko na kayo dyan sa labas. Dito biosecure kami. Biosecured bubble.
Ayun, yun believe ko naman kay Cara, even na kahit na naka-bubble siya or nasa labas, nandiyan pa rin siya. Yan ang Diyosa. Yeah, di
Ay,
ba?
siyempre, mana sa'yo.
Naku. Okay, anyway, today ang special guest natin, no, is from the esports industry. She is very one of the beautiful faces I've seen so far in esports. Tapos basta the couple of weeks have been not so good, pero still we're here to add some positivity. Dapat patawarin natin today si M. Yun ang goal natin ngayon. Kailangan ngumiti. Okay? So, sabi ko na yung pangalan ng guest natin.
Muna, sige, pakilala natin. Well,
Yes.
she's a very talented esports athlete. She's not only a game developer, she's also a shoutcaster. Ang galing-galing pa niya, hindi yan pabuhat sa AOV tsaka sa ML. Yan ang talagang, kumbaga, pagdating sa away, starter yan. Starter na rest back pa. Ganyan niyang kalupit. O none other than, nako, the beautiful hot mama, Miss M. Kaisaya Dangla. Nako!
Hello po. Hello po, Sir Brian, Miss Cara.
So, M,
Basta
kumusta
ka?
kayo dyan? How are you doing the past days? Lalo na dito, nakakulong na, I'm presuming, nakakulong ka rin sa bahay. Like,
Yes. Yes, okay naman po. Since the pandemic started, since introvert ako, so medyo okay lang na nasa bahay. And usually naman kasi yung mga esports players, mas sanay din talaga sila na nasa loob lang since, we don't really have to go to outside places unless like kunwari mall event or like in a public place yung magiging tournament. Pero yeah, I think that's the good thing about esports. Like you can over the internet, play and compete against your opponents.
so yun nga, no? So you mentioned nga, esports, kumbaga, would it be safe to say ever since the pandemic started, everybody was into this? Kasi ako nakikita ko yung anak ko, nakikita ko yung mga pamangkin ko, puro ganun eh. So, do you think talagang ganun ka, nag-boom siya? Kumbaga, it's an outlet these times.
Yeah, I believe so. Kasi right now, hindi lang yung mga regular or dati ng players yung naglalaro. But you can see some celebrities diving into esports na rin. Not really that esports, but, streaming, gaming. And I think maganda rin siya, hindi lang for competitive scene, but at the same time, helping out, like, for example, yung mga oldies, like if they want to keep their minds active and thinking, they can dive into playing games then.
That's true. There are actually studies saying that if you are a gamer, it actually helps you prevent Alzheimer's.
Yes,
Alam mo ba yun,
yes.
Brian?
Ano pala yan?
Yes, oo, kasi 'di ba you do mapping eh. You do mapping of the scene. Tapos at least kasi na-exercise yung brain functions pag gamer ka. So, mas 'di ba, yun naman ang importante yung memory eh para ma-prevent natin yung Alzheimer's. Naku, siguro si mahirap mangutang kay matatandaan niya. Matatandaan niya kagad. Alam ko magkano utang mo sa akin.
Lagi na lang may utang na topic, Miss Cara.
Yan ang yan ang uso.
Pero alam mo, Cara, there was a time I was hooked into gaming. Pero hindi pa yung mga mobile siguro yung mga for a short time. Pero alam mo, there's one concern I had with gaming is time consuming. Yung, ewan ko I don't know if it's the same with right now, yung sa mga mobile gaming. Grabe ba kumain ng oras mo yan?
Depende naman po. Like, if you're just gonna be a casual player, meaning you will just play games like for a few minutes and then that's it. Pero kasi if you're playing professionally, then that is something na trabaho na talaga. Like, there are organizations paying you monthly to train and be prepared for tournaments. Kasi, hello, ano ba naman yung mga tournaments ngayon? There are certain tournaments na umaabot pa ng 1 billion pesos yung overall prize pool, which is Dota 2. So that's something talaga na na nakapansin-pansin, and that's why may mga brands and organizations na nag-i-invest talaga ng training for teams for that huge prize pool. And of course, iba rin naman yung nag-a-addict ka lang, and that's actually the bad sides, of course. So anything na sobra na wala ka namang nabe-benefit na like for or maybe nabe-benefit ka, like of course you're having fun, but apparently it's affecting your studies if you're still a student, or affecting your real life na hindi mo na iniintindi, for example, yung pagkain mo, yung pamilya mo. So that's the bad side. So you really have to balance things out. And yun nga, with regards to time consuming naman, depende sa game. May mga games na abutin ka, yung isang laro, abutin ka ng 30 minutes to 1 hour. Pero meron naman mga types ng games na few minutes lang, na pang casual lang, ganun.
Okay. So, ako siguro nandun ako sa addictive side, kaya tama na tinigil ko na lang. Hindi ako kumikita eh.
Siguro nga po.
But it's a highly, totoo yung sinasabi ni M. Actually, more than basketball, esports is highly lucrative.
Yes.
Saan ka nakakita, di ba? We're talking about millions of dollars in one tournament alone. So yan yung, di ba, sabi nga nila, may mga memes eh, na parang, oh, anong napapala mo, kaka-computer mo. Tapos biglang, di ba, prize money ng ganitong amount. So it's actually, M is really right. Nowadays, esports is actually a career for a lot of people right now, and it's something that they can earn a decent, ba yan? Kinabahan naman kasi ako kay Brian. Yung ngiting panalo, yun. Going back, it's a career wherein people can actually earn a decent living out from. So, yan ang natin. Like M, 'di ba? M, 'di ba parang you're transitioning, or are you wanting to do this full time?
Yes, I'm wanting to do this full time, pero kasi since I started being a shoutcaster, mas nahati yung oras ko. But if given the opportunity na makapag full time, I'm gonna go for it. But right now kasi gotta admit, there's still a difference when it comes to dealing with women in esports and men in esports. So like for example, there's difference in the prize pool. Mas maliit lagi yung kapag babaeng players.
How big is the disparity among the prize pool among genders?
Sorry?
How big is the disparity?
Sobrang laki. Like for example, if we're talking about community tournaments or small size tournaments, the biggest prize pool, ito yung recent na lang pala na nasalihan namin, for the all-female tournament, nasa, I think, if I recall it correctly, 60,000 pesos. Tapos pag sa men's team, nasa 6 digits, gano'n. So, malaki rin yung difference. 300K yata pesos. So, malaki rin yung difference. And, di ko alam bakit may difference. Siguro, siguro dahil konti yung players na babae compared sa lalaki. I'm not so sure. But other things kasi na ang concern ko is, yun nga, why we must be separated. Like sa mga leagues.
Thinking
Like,
naman,
para kasi siyang chess eh. Like, hindi pa pwedeng makipaglaban yung babae against sa lalaki if this is a chess game. Wala namang bungguan na mangyayari. Physical contact, di ba?
wala naman.
So,
Tsaka
yeah.
parang nagulat ako dun sa layo nung prize money because it involves the same amount of skill. It involves the same amount of effort and time invested, 'di ba, into the gameplay. So parang tama ka nga, parang what's the reason behind the wide gap between the prize money dun sa male sa female tournaments. But maybe because it's awfully new, di ba? Medyo bago pa lang ang all-female tournaments. How recent was this when you started joining all-female tournaments?
Last year yata, if I recall it correctly, or late 2018. But yung binanggit kong price amount was itong recent lang, siguro 2 months ago, if I'm not mistaken. Yan.
So may ano pa rin talaga, kumbaga, meron pa din, let's say, siguro let's see it as a room for improvement. So we're hoping that as more players go along or come along and try to compete, mas lalaki yung audience natin, Brian, o mas madami ding mga makakalaro si M, di ba, makakalaban si M, and mas mag-grow din talaga yung ating female esports community. So, sana, hopefully, we get there.
Pala yun kaya pala nagkakandalo ko yung mga pamangkin ko. Yung akala ko nagbibiro lang yung mga those are real money.
Yes po, totoo po yun. Like, there's actually a lot of
Sa
traditional
pang-aagot!
parents. Yeah, there's a lot of traditional parents pa rin kasi na hindi sila aware, and maybe di sila aware kasi because some of the kids are not explaining and they're not really showing kung ano yung proof o talaga bang meron and all. But that's why yun din yung sinasabi ko kasi I manage some teams then. Like, sometimes I get to talk to their parents, and naintindihan ko bakit minsan parang ayaw ng parents nila. Ayun pala kasi hindi nila ine-explain. Like, they're not saying, oh, may salary sila monthly, may
Tinatago ba sa parents?
ano, parang nga, ayun, tinatago
Parents
yata
nila.
sa parents. Pero, ayun, so that's a good thing is, meron naman of course na mga young players pa rin na tinutuloy yung studies nila and supported ng parents. And I guess yun yung proper way para, alam yun, hindi kayo mahirapan sa mundo ng esports while um, you know, with your parents having to understand ano ba talagang i-offer ng esports sa inyo. So kung meron kayong full support ng parents nyo, wala na kayong ibang worry. Kundi yung training na lang, hindi nyo naisipin, magalit kaya yung mama ko, yung papa ko, diba? So if you make them understand anong mabe-benefit nyo doon, then there's not gonna be any problems.
Oh, I remember kasi parang there was an interview with Aloydia, and then Aloydia's parents were saying that initially they didn't like the idea of Aloydia doing esports or yung cosplay, but then eventually when they saw that she was enjoying it and she was actually earning from it, so yun, naging proud na sila na si Aloydia is actually a gamer, 'di ba? Nakakatawa pa nga yung mga ano niya with her parents yung mga vlogs niya with her parents, 'di ba? I remember yung nagso-solitaire yung dad niya, tapos parang ultra high-end yung kanyang
Yeah.
gaming system.
Yeah, the good thing about Alodia was that actually sa cosplay siya talaga nag-start, and then doon siya mas nakilala. And I think she's also lucky kasi isa siya sa mga starters. Pinaka nakilala talaga during the time na wala pa talagang super boom na cosplay industry and esports industry. Then actually from cosplay she transitioned into esports industry. Yun.
So mas kumbaga, mas naging easy for her yung transition because siya pa lang yung isa sa mga nag-umpisa. Well, madali na mahirap.
Nakilala or naging popular
Oo.
siya from the cosplay community. Yeah.
Siguro madali na mahirap kasi it's really hard to start something from scratch na hindi pa na-appreciate ng tao. At the same
Yes.
time, isa ka sa mga talagang trailblazers. Oo. So, nakuha, parang mas madali niyang nakuha talaga yung following. So, ikaw naman, I mean, di ba syempre nag-build ka din ng following mo. Tapos, how was it like for you? I mean, as a woman. Kasi di ba may challenges, kagaya nga ng sinabi mo iba yung tingin sa male player sa female. So, ano yung mga naging challenges mo in building?
When I started kasi, I was casually playing lang. And then, just to share you my journey, I started, applying as one of Mobile Legends Bang Bang's official streamer on their Facebook page. So, from there, na-try kong, of course, na-open ako onto what live streaming is. And then I realized, I can communicate pala with the audience on this online platform. And then from there, wala pa yung casting Shoutcasting is like commentating, right? Like you're a commentator for any sports or esports game. So, hindi ko pa alam yon. I was just like basically talking over the game itself that is being shown on screen. And then little did I know, unti-unti parang nagkakas na pala ako noon. And then I did some research about what shoutcasting is all about. And then I saw a few samples na meron na palang few shoutcasters na existing sa Philippines and even sa ibang bansa. And I got to know esports. And then from there na may nag-push sa akin na tao na ituloy ko or yung shoutcasting. And from there, nag-start na, I get to start shoutcasting Mobile Legends, Arena of Valor, and other games too, like Marvel Super War. So hanggang naging tuloy-tuloy na yon. But I initially wanted to become a professional player, like compete against other teams kasi I find it wala, tayo, parang tayo yung gusto natin ng challenge, gusto natin mag-compete. So, yeah, pero hindi kasi naging open yung opportunity because most of the organizations wanted to take men, ganyan, kasi parang they see men na mas magaling or 'di ba? Mas higher yung chances ng winning. So I shake it off lang pero kaya nag-focus na lang ako sa shoutcasting. But from late 2018, merong organization na nag-start ng all-female league. So they are from Singapore. It is Female Esports League, FSL, yung pangalan ng liga nila. Then, ayun, dun kami nag-start mag-apply. So, nag-try lang kami bumuo ng small female team until na-discover kami. Then, some organizations from Malaysia naman, yung M8 Hexa, acquired us to play under their banner, to represent their banner. So, dun lahat nag-start until yung Liab Esports naman, a Philippine organization, sila yung current na team ko rin ngayon na hawak kami. Yan, sila naman yung nire-represent namin ngayon. So, lahat doon nag-start. And ano ba yung mga challenges? So dalawa kasi yung masasabi ko sa shoutcasting and sa gaming. So, sa shoutcasting, if I can recall correctly, ako lang yata yung mag-isang female caster ng Mobile Legends Bang Bang that time. So, medyo mahirap kasi may mga times na sometimes mababash ka online kasi people are getting annoyed how your voice sounds like. Maybe because, mas gusto nila yung boses ng lalaki when it comes to commentating.
Mhm.
Di ba? Yung mga ganong side comments. So, but during that time, so syempre, nakakasakit, especially if bago ka pa lang. Pero kung iisipin mo, they're the audience, baka may point sila, how can I improve? So, yung mga ganong bagay na parang i-workout mo na lang. Masyado ka bang matinis? Kailangan bang babaan ng konti yung boses mo? Things you have to improve. Ang problema lang kasi noon, may part ng medyo uncomfortability na hindi rin siguro ka binibigyan ng feedback ng mga male co-casters mo kasi because hindi lang komportable pa kasi nga babae ka and then ganun. So, yun yung mga few challenges. Pero ngayon naman, mas okay na kasi yun din actually naging movement ko before na okay, just because binabash ako, hindi ako pwede mag-quit. I have to like stand up here and show them na kaya ng babae. And that's what I'm happy about right now, na ang daming babae ngayon. And sometimes mag-PM sila sa akin na inspiration daw nila ako. So nakakataba ng puso yung mga ganun messages. And some of them, actually, all of them, nakikita ko nagsha-shoutcast na rin ngayon. So although mas konti pa rin kami compared sa mga lalaking shoutcasters, proud pa rin ako na nagkaroon ng female representation sa shoutcasting or esports commentaries. Pero sa gaming naman, it's still a work in progress, but at least kahit separated yung league namin sa mga lalaki, it's a good start. And I guess from there, kayang ma-discover ma-discover yung mga babaeng players in potentially getting invites into a mixed gender team. So that's what I'm hoping for. That's why ina-encourage ka lahat ng female players or yung mga aspiring competitive players na tuloy nyo lang yung training nyo, yung grind nyo, kasi hindi kayo makikilala kung hindi kayo magpapakita. So, if you're just hiding your skills, then nothing will happen. So, yan, parang you have to market yourself then. Yun lang.
Curious lang.
Mahaba ang naging journey niya, Brian.
Haba.
Bittersweet journey.
May question ako kay M. Curious lang ako. Uso ba ang trash talking sa esports?
Yes, especially pag ano lang siya, casual game. Casual game meaning like random lang yung kalaro mo sa game itself ha. Kasi it's something na kahit yung developers ng game mismo, hindi nila makokontrol. Ang makakontrol lang nila ay may mga filter, yung parang ano magiging censored yung
Mm.
words. But other than that, like, mga alam mo yung mga tao, hindi, gagawin nila ng paraan gagawin nilang symbol para lang mabasa mo yung ano. Di ba? Pero sa mga ano naman, sa mga official tournaments naman, dinidiscourage yan. And it is like grounds for disqualification. So, wala naman tayong makikita na ganun sa mga ano mismo, sa mga actual tournaments. But, I gotta admit, in social media, this is what I'm actually not that personally liking. Yung mga clout,
Mm.
yung clout ng mga professional players, and we call them professionals, 'di ba? So hopefully we see them as professional nga talaga, like in how they act, in how they represent themselves. But the bad thing here is, alam mo yun, like nakikita ng mga bata, kasi yung audience mostly mga bata, like alam mo yung murahan sa online, sasabihin nila for marketing purposes, but I don't think it's a good way to market things talaga. So I hope yun yung isa sa ma-fix ng Philippine esports industry. Teka lang, na-check ako yan.
Sige ha.
Ayun. So, yeah, yung cloud, yung pag-create ng mga issue na fake para lang tumunog yung name ng team, ayun yung sana mabago. Pero, yun nga, during actual tournament, hindi naman nangyayari yun kasi it's being, like kunwari, ire-record siya, tapos papadalas yung live stream feed sa ibang bansa. So, syempre, you cannot like do any trash talk online and everything. Pero kung makikita mo sa social media ng mga sobrang sobrang real talk, ang pangit talaga. Parang hindi siya professional-like. So, I hope yun yung something na ma-fix and i-push ng mga team organizations na maging maayos and maging professional yung players nila and not just go for numbers, not go for, pwede naman makakuha ng numbers but in a nice way, hindi yung mag influence pa na bad para sa mga young audience.
Totoo yan.
Nagiging norm kasi. So, ang pangit. Like, you can imagine, like, if you have, like, your future, children, itong mga taong to. Like, ano magiging, itsura. Very, very messy na, na environment. Puro negativity, sakit sa ulo, and we just don't respect each other. So, ang pangit talaga.
Mm. Yun nga.
Oo, Brian, I think that's one of M's strengths kasi. Like being a mother, she sees all those variables eh.
Mm.
'Di ba? Parang kung ano ba ang nai-influence niya, sino ba ang mga nai-influence within her industry, 'di ba? I think that affects her and her advocacies a lot in a good way. 'Di ba? Especially thinking, 'di ba, how would you have any idea how big of the parang youth population is into esports nowadays?
I'd say if sa Mobile Legends Bang Bang pa lang we can say like parang I don't know 70% puro bata. Ang laking ang laking number. That's just my guess and that's just basing on how I observe kasi I held community tournaments many times na rin naman since 3 years or 4 almost. And talagang mostly bata and yung makikita mo yon sa social media in the Facebook pages or Facebook profile of professional players. May mga comments galing sa bata, nakikipag-trash talkan and all. So, I don't know how the parents are monitoring, but I guess may factor din naman kasi how the influencers, how the players would influence itong mga mga fans nila na bata. Na, 'di ba? You have the kasi whatever they say in social media, these kids believe them So why not use it to yun nga that power to inspire people to help the community be a better place. So I just don't kind of understand. So siguro most talaga are blinded with numbers and following for with the use of cloud.
Okay, so parang yun pala yung naging prevalent culture sa Philippine esports na
Yes.
for the sake of views and likes, there are some people who would go to that extent. It's sad considering that you shared to us na 70% are actually kids. And kids are very impressionable.
Mm-mm.
Even nga, di ba, as parents, it's a challenge for us to be watching out dun sa ating actions because our kids follow what they
Yeah.
see.
Yes.
So, in that regard naman, Brian, alam mo, well, it's really hard kasi we're talking about the internet eh.
Yeah.
And the busy schedule of well, right now, pandemic, we get to guide our kids. Pero, di ba, prior to that, busy ang ating mga buhay eh. There's traffic, there's work, and there's everything else in life.
Mm-mm.
And I'm very happy, Em, that you're coming forward with all of these things because it gives also the parents a perspective on how to protect their kids, 'di ba? Kasi sometimes the tendency is if the parents are tired, they just give them the, oh sige mag-computer ka lang anak, here's the
Yeah.
tablet, 'di ba? For them to rest.
Mm-mm.
Not knowing that you're actually there is a possibility that you're bringing danger upon your kids as a parent. When, 'di ba, in actuality, parang for you, okay, I just want a bit of a rest. Tapos yun pala yung madidinig nila.
Mm-mm.
But I'm not saying, ito naman, I'm not saying that esports is a bad thing. But then again, I fully agree with M na parang the people, especially in professional esports communities, should be conscientious enough to act professionally. Diba?
Yeah. And di naman natin nilalahat. There are certain bigger personalities kasi na ganun nga yung yung ways. And again, we're not saying na everyone is like that. But, kahit few numbers or few certain people lang yon, it will affect, a lot of people. Kasi nga sobrang laki ng esports scene natin ngayon sa Philippines, especially for the younger audience.
Mm-mm.
Oo. Kagaya nga ng sinasabi nila, 'di ba? Nag-iiba na din kasi talaga yung thinking, yung culture, yung means of learning lalo ngayon online learning,
Yeah.
everyone is online, 'di ba? Kaya nga nagkanda-hirap-hirap na yung Smart, Globe, Converge, hindi na nila alam paano i-handle yung bandwidth na demands natin.
True.
Ah, what steps are you taking to further these advocacies? Have you spoken to groups na ba? Have any groups reached out to you to help you out with this?
Well, I'm just one person, so I don't think orgs or anyone will actually reach out to me on that part. Kasi certain organizations or people, if nakikita nila na nag-grow yung numbers nila and it's working, they wouldn't mind. But for me lang, as an independent influencer myself, um, I'm just like being an example. I'm just setting an example na okay, we can have fun but a professional at the same time and be a good example to kung ano yung following natin na nare-reach natin. So that's just where I'm starting. Or at least yun yung ginagawa ko. Kasi I myself cannot, if this is a big organization na, or rather team na kilala, tas ang laking fan base, I cannot like tell them na okay, what do you need to do? But internally, like whenever I have discussions naman with, for example, fellow shoutcasters ko, we discuss it like what we have to do na ganito. There are certain agreements and disagreements, not all my colleagues will agree on the kind of principle we must hold. Respetuhan na lang ng bawat isa and ng bawat prinsipyo ng bawat isa. But yeah, as for me, that's what I wanna call for, which is yun nga, yung malinis lang na space for professional esports and the esports scene itself by setting as an example.
Oh, that speaks volumes already. Although ito, I'm curious din kasi I understand let's just say cartoons. For cartoons, you have demographics na parang okay, certain types of cartoons are for kids, certain types are for adults. Do you think it would be helpful? Let's just say you're an esports influencer, tas talagang ang audience mo is for adults. Would it help classify na parang, okay, this content is for 18 and above, this one or these types of contents naman on the other hand are for kids, para at least yung mga tao na syempre gusto nila na yun talaga yung branding nila is
Yeah.
mapanindigan din nila. Syempre, like you said, it's hard to enforce din talaga on other people na parang, oh, be like this or be like that. So, what do you think about that if that was going to happen?
I guess that's fine, but since we're over the internet, it's totally uncontrollable. There are a lot of social media platforms na available over the internet, and um, for example, a kid can just make a profile na kunwari 18 years old siya and above. So, ang daming uncontrollable factors. So, I think what we must do talaga within ourselves is to just be responsible in what we do over the internet. And siguro, kung hindi talaga may iwasan, and then the parents can join in to control what their children sees over the internet. So, yun nga, since internet is something that we cannot take full control of.
Hmm. Okay. Oo, yan mga ano enlightening information.
Mm-mm.
Right? Kasi not everyone knows that. Minsan 'di ba yun nga, 'di ba abot mo lang yung tablet, so okay na. Tapos Minecraft minsan, sige maglaro ka na diyan, 'di ba? Okay na. Iwanan mo na and sometimes those things do happen. Pero I admire the stand that you're taking on when it comes to this because it's you risk losing followers 'di ba?
Yeah.
If you take a stand, you always risk losing people who go against your belief. And I commend you for that. That at least you have the bravery and the courage to choose a side. Sige, eto. Going on to my next question. Like you as a parent, what safeguards would you suggest the parents to take on in order to ensure that their children are protected while using the internet or while playing online games?
Yeah, they really have to monitor talaga their kids. Check the history as much as possible. Wag niyo muna ituro yung deleting of history sa children nyo. And yeah, maybe be involved na rin if like for example halos kaedad nyo na yung anak nyo. Like be involved on what they do so at least you can get to parang body-body kayo kung ano yung gusto nyong panoorin, hindi nyo gusto panoorin. But at the same time, both of you are having fun on what in gaming, and at least at the same time na monitor nyo. So I guess involvement is part of it if we cannot really control on what's being sent to us over the internet.
Oo it's really hard to it's really hard to monitor something if you're not present. But eto, I'm very sure that our viewers out there, they'd like to know, do you have any personal recommendations for games? And, sige, let's just start with how old is a kid or a child that is considered to be safe, di ba, to gain access to online games or online gaming?
I can say, or like, I think I'm not in the position to give professional advice on that one since I myself, like yung kid ko na, ano ko
Mhm.
na siya since I'm a gamer and bata pa lang siya actually like, ilan taon na ba siya? Yeah, 7 siya ngayon. So, in his current age ngayon, nagma-Minecraft na siya. And what is Minecraft all about? Like, it's like Lego, pero it's online. So, he gets to build things, become creative and all. So, I guess depende na lang sa kind of games. Kasi may mga games naman na educational na nakakapagturo. Like, for example, yung mga ABC, ganyan, and other educational stuff. And ang maganda doon kasi sa mga App Store and Play Store natin, may mga ages naman na naka-indicate. Like, okay, for, ano ba to, good ba to for 3 to 4 years old na kids? So, siguro yun na lang yung i-check nila. But for recommendations, since I'm not really a professional into like ganyan talaga, advising sa anong age ba dapat. And I don't wanna really, kasi iba-iba tayo ng parenting style.
Yeah.
I don't really wanna, like, parang magbato na lang ng suggestion just because it's my personal preference and kung ano yung preference ko as a parent for my kid might not work for other parents. So, yeah, for me, just kung ano yung principle nyo as a parent, for as long as hindi makaka-apekto sa child nyo, just go for it. And yun nga, just be responsible na lang in checking siguro yung mga age requirement ng game na yon, and kung educational ba, kung brutal ba, and siguro i-monitor na lang din yung how for how long na sila naglalaro kasi of course for sure ngayon 'di ba online school, halos lahat talaga nasa in front of the monitor na, and ano bang maiisip natin, lahat siguro ng bata moving forward ngayon malabo na yung mata. So ayan, yun yung mga bagay na iko-control na lang, yung limit sa oras and the kind of game they're playing.
How much of gameplay time do you allow your son to have?
Ay, kailangan ko siyang ipag-break. Like, sobrang max na yung 2 hours, then he needs to go for a break. Like, mag-drawing naman siya, maglaro naman siya ng toys niya, ganyan. So, yun yung maximum ko. Pero kapag sumobra na doon, um, yun ay, may mga disciplinary actions na tayo pagka ganyan. Like, kailangan mo kasi talagang turuan eh. Kasi feeling ko lang sa ano ngayon, sa current ano ba yung tawag yun? Sa ngayon, this year, yung mga, ano ba tawag sa ano ngayon? Di ba mga may mga millennials, ganyan.
Mm.
But
Ano, Gen Z, mga
mga
ganon.
Gen Z, kung ano yung tawag.
Parang tayo.
Sila yung sila yung talagang lumaki sa internet eh. So, siguro yung ways and like yung pagiging mas sensitive ba ng mga bata ngayon. Iba yung sa pagiging sensitive ng mga bata noon. Like parang mas, kumbaga laki sa hirap, laki sa wala yung mga noon. Kasi walang internet eh. Walang nag-i-spoil sa kanila
Dial
eh.
up, naabutan mo ba yung dial up?
Yes!
Ano yun?
Ah, oo, sorry. You already, Brian.
Hindi ko
Oo.
ano yan eh.
Biglang nagka-amnesia. Kailangan maging gamer. Para hindi nagka-Alzheimer's. Oo. I think that's a good point din naman na parang your parenting style, 'di ba? That's the way that you expose your children online is solely dependent on your parenting style, your parenting preferences.
Sorry.
So, I think, Brian, that's also very important that we decide based on our parenting style the amount of exposure and the amount of material that we present or we provide our kids. Because M is right, sometimes it can be educational, sometimes it can be enriching, but there are also times that we have to be aware and wary of the cons of
Mm.
the online tools that we expose our children to.
Kahit minsan di rin naman nakikinig sa ating mga anak natin kasi they'll find ways.
Yeah.
Di ba?
Okay. Hindi kasi 'di ba ano nga tayo na nga as adults sometimes we find things addicting din eh, 'di ba? Netflix we binge. So what no more yung children who don't really have the facets pa of self-control eh, 'di ba? Kung tayo nga 'di ba yung World of the Married, yung Chloe talagang binge eh, 'di ba? Tapos biglang yung bata pag nag-binge parang all of a sudden all hell breaks loose na parang oh.
Oo nga.
Oo. Are there, like ikaw, personal recommendations mo dun sa mga apps that or games that you allow your son to play? Because I'm sure that the viewers out there, they'd like to know, like, where do I start? I want to expose my child to mga online games, ganyan. So, saan pinakamaganda mag-umpisa kaya?
Nung mas bata-bata pa kasi siya, dun ako sa mga ABC lang, yung mga pang ano talaga, pang kids, ganyan. But now na he's in kind of independent na rin, like he knows how to tap and select buttons. So he's into Roblox and Minecraft. I'm okay with those games because those are fully like very creative games. Parang ang Lego na online kung saan there are building blocks, tapos pwede kang gumawa ng ginagawa niya nga doon mga maps eh. Gumagawa siya ng maps and then kabisado niya yung buong mapa ng mundo. Tapos ako hindi. Pati yung mga countries and all, yung mga flag. So, ayun. So, gumagawa siya, tapos nire-recreate niya yung buong world map, yung world map. Tapos, Ayun, so Roblox, Minecraft, they're fine. So Roblox naman do, slight monitoring lang kasi may mga games doon na baka parang like mga FPS or yung mga barila na games. So maybe you just have to monitor. May mga parang horror games din na monitor nyo na lang din. Pero I think to start safest is Minecraft kasi nga full creative lang siya. And yung may mga mining. So I think avoid na lang yung mga apps na kasi there are certain apps na I think ito yung personally pina-uninstall ko to sa anak ko. It's called Discord and it's actually a voice communication app,
Mhm.
text and voice communication app, pwede ring video. So ayan, wag na lang yon kasi may mga certain like influencers, YouTubers na nagba-Minecraft and nag-Roblox tapos they ask the audience to join their Discord server. Pero that Discord kasi is parang chat sa atin, like para siyang Facebook Messenger. And
Mhm.
imagine if your child can communicate to other people na strangers, then you don't know, you are not able to monitor like who they're talking to and what they're talking about. So, yun yung scary part. So, ayun, personally, ako pina-uninstall ko yun sa anak ko and, we promised each other that he's not gonna install it again because, he needs to be careful kasi kung malay yung ano mga isend ng mga random na taong kausap nila and we don't know what their age really is, di ba?
That's true kasi usong-uso yan yung mga online grooming.
Mm.
Oo, sa panahon ngayon. That's one of the downsides din kasi ng access ng ating kids sa internet. But she was also able to present and was also able to present at napaka-advanced pala ng iyong anak.
Oo.
Kasi 'di ba parang it's the entire world map. Ikaw ba, Brian? Kabisado mo ba ang entire world map? Kaya mo i-recreate?
Hindi ko kabisado eh. Wild map pa.
Map ng Maynila, ano, na naliligaw pa.
Kaya nga, buti may ways eh.
Oo nga po. Waze and Google Maps, yan.
Oo.
Ang useful.
I think I'm learning a lot. Like as a parent, I'm also learning a lot from this episode, Brian.
Mm.
Diba? Kasi madami dyan eh. I think this is also helping a lot of our viewers
Mm.
recognize then na yung active participation is really needed. Diba? Dito
Yeah.
sa online gaming, it's not just, you provide your son or your daughter with the games. Do you personally play the games first before you hand them over?
Either I try it on my own or I take a look at yung mga videos paano nilalaro. And yun nga, sometimes ako mismo, tumitingin ako sa sa laro ng anak ko kung ano yung nilalaro niya. So, yeah. And sometimes at the back of my head, gusto ko nga siyang salihan. But yun nga, busy tayo.
Yun nga.
Busy kasi tayo eh.
True.
Pero yeah, ayun.
Oh, yun po pala. It can be a bonding moment then.
Yeah.
Oh, it can be a family moment for kids and their parents. Well, that's also an interesting way to put online gaming, di ba, in that light. Hindi lang siya basta, kasi madalas kasi ang mindset natin sa online gaming, yung nandun ka pre-pandemic times nakatambay ka sa computer shop, di ba, with your friends, o parang certain age demographic, o yan yung mga, di ba, ganun ang ano natin eh. Or it's consoles, di ba? Na,
Well, I
uh,
think during that time kasi wala pa masyadong mga tournaments and competitive kung saan ka pwede makakita ng chaching. Di ba? So that's why I understand then why sometimes the parents will be concerned about their children getting addicted into gaming, tapos minsan magka-cutting classes just to play games. So, ayun. So, pero I believe may mga games before na kung saan ka talaga kumikita ng pera. It's like online business din. Like yung Ragnarok Online. Not too sure if you're familiar. But,
Mm.
ayun. So, ano siya like parang online business na pwede ka talagang kumita. But yun nga, hindi kasi lahat bukas yung ano pa doon, like understanding. Kaya kaya maraming mga parents nagagalit about that. Kasi even ako, naging pasaway din naman ako sa parents ko. Like, umuwi ako, tapos diretso ako sa computer shop. Pero at least hindi ako nag-cutting classes. I'm so proud. Pero ang nakakatawa doon, kasi may computer shop kami before sa baba ng bahay namin. Gigising ako sobrang aga, 4 a.m. just to go online. Random yung ginagawa ko. Either I will play or I will learn web development. So, doon ako natuto ng web development. So, at least na-balance naman kahit papano. Pero imagine, di ba, like, sometimes tamad kang gumising eh, pag wala kang motivation eh. Pero yung games talaga nakaka-motivate gumising ng maaga. 4 a.m.
Oo. So, ano talaga siya, Bri, oh. Tingnan mo naman ang ano ni M. Para siyang, it's, in essence, you are an athlete in training. 'Di ba? Because you wake up, you train, 'di ba? And you train continuously. And then there's the passion, there's the presence of passion. So, much respect din naman kasi I know you put in so many hours just to get where you are right now. So many hours and yung effort din that was exerted just for you to reach a certain stature in, mind you, a male-dominated industry.
Yeah, it is.
Oo. Brian, ikaw ba? Have you, done those things? I remember you mentioned to me before na parang for a time naging gamer ka rin eh.
Oh, yun, yung mga nabanggit ni M, yung Ragnarok, natry ko yan. Ewan ko, M, kung if you've heard of Ultima Online before.
Ultima Online, yeah.
Ayun, alam mo bang gaano ako ka-addict na it got to the point na ako yung nag-host, ako na yung nagpo-program, I tried it,
Wow.
it reached that point before.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Kasi yung mga ano yan, mga online role-playing game, may factor kasi yan na parang, may sinasabi nila sila, yung mga psychologists, like some people enjoy those kind of games kasi it allows them to escape the reality. Like at least it's a different persona when they are online. Like at least there they can be perfect. Like they got some skills, they are powerful, and they get to explore a new world and just be totally absent in the present.
Mm.
And I think ayun din yung reason ba't ako naglalaro before. You just apart from enjoying the art style, the stories in that game, yun parang okay, if you have any problems in real life, you get to escape somehow. Pero it's not always the case naman. It's just one explanation from psychologists na nabasa ko.
Mm.
But sa ngayon to be honest, like if you're a busy person, you wouldn't really have that much time sa mga online role-playing games. Kasi nga, those kind of games takes a lot of dedication and time na to the point na kailangan mo talagang magbabad ng oras. Yung mga ganong klaseng games. And ako personally, kahit love ko yung ganong genre, hindi na ako makapag ganon eh. Ang daming lumalabas na ganong games pa rin, pero hindi ko na siya, kumbaga parang install ko lang, tapos after a few tutorial, then uninstall ko na kasi hindi ko na ma-enjoy kasi alam ko maa-addict ako doon. And I cannot afford to spend my time doon. So rather, doon na lang tayo sa tayo magiging productive, yung kung ano yung practical.
True.
Diba? So, kailangan kumita ng pera. Ganon.
Oo nga naman. Pero madaming ganong games na malaki, no? Like Witcher. Witcher, ang laki ng ano niya eh. Parang it takes months for you to finish it kung casual gamer ka lang talaga.
Mm-mm-mm.
Oo. Tapos ang dami pa mga story arcs na mga, okay,
Yes.
biglang ano siya. Oo, ano din. Well, we know naman na, di ba, currently these are the advocacies that you're championing for, na talagang with your presence and influence here in the esports gaming industry, you've been very vocal about these things. And aside from that, we also know that you have been advocating for safe spaces for the vulnerable population. And it's something that, well, I know Brian has some questions then with regards to that eh.
Saan?
Huh?
Saan?
About her advocacy
Ah,
for promoting safe spaces for the vulnerable population in the Philippine esports community.
mm. Yun yung sa akin kasi, so, di ba, well, everybody knows what happened the past weeks with you. Okay, now moving forward, everything's been quiet. Ang sa akin how are things with you after that incident? Kumbaga nag-die down na ba? Ano ba tawag doon? Ang tawag doon, Kara?
Namatay na ba?
Na-resolve na ba? Na ano na ba?
Naka-move on ka na ba doon sa issue? Or meron pa rin Kurut.
Meron pa rin, to be honest. Kasi for me, it's not an easy topic to discuss.
Mhm.
And actually, after that revelation, yes, lumakas yung loob ko. It gave some light to other people na naharas din. Or, yeah, right after the revelation, may mga na-encourage tayo na ibang babae din, mostly babae.
Mhm.
Actually, may isang lalaki din na I'm actually surprised na nag-PM sa akin na naharas siya. But of course, it's not my story to tell.
Mhm. Mhm.
But knowing na hindi lang ako, it basically means na this community or this industry is not that clean.
Mhm.
Like, meron mga kailangang itama dito. And I think may kailangan gawin yung mga organizations and brands to make sure na, just like in any offices, like if you're working in an office setup, you want to make sure that your employees are in a safe environment to work. Like for example, kahit construction worker ka, you will do what it takes para to make sure na kahit anong mangyari, safe yung mga contractors mo or yung mga employees mo. That's the same thing for esports, regardless kung online to or in a physical LAN setup. But yeah, they have to like make sure na alam mo yan, feeling ko nga kailangan na nga rin ano ko na kasi na-involved din tong topic na to. Like, mag-test, magpa-drug test kasi na-involved din yung topic na to. Nung may isang nag-open up about that, na drinag daw siya, binigyan daw siya ng certain drugs para maharas siya. But, yeah, after that, yung sa specific case ko naman, since it was 2 years ago pa, from along those years, nakapag-move on naman na ako kasi naging tahimik ako just to give compromise for ourselves, like for everyone, be at peace. Although, yes, di ko nakuha yung justice for me because I was kind of misguided. I didn't have a lawyer back then to
Mhm.
guide me on para to fight for my rights. But, na-realize ko naman din kasi, like, for example, Zeus specifically, he learned his, and pati yung ex-boyfriend ko, of course, he's the main suspect, and then Zeus is the accessory of the crime. Both of them naman learned from it. So, for me, kahit hindi ko sila na-send sa, behind the bars, I believe, until now, I do believe that they have learned something really, really hard because nagsorry naman sila sa akin personally. And even up until this point, the moment when I put it into public after ko ma-trigger on a certain post ni Shinbu,
Mhm.
yeah, nagsasorry pa rin sila sa akin. They're really sorry about it. And Zeus coming into a point na nag-decide siya na lie low from esports, I totally respect that too. So, that's what made me believe na kahit hindi mo isend sa bar yung isang tao, talaga nagsisi siya and looks like he's not gonna do that any longer. Ayun nga lang ang pangit doon kasi may mga ibang nag-surface na story about him na ano niya rin, na wrong. So, pero hindi ko na case yon. It's just, you know, wala. Baka ganun talaga. You really have to pay for what you did uh, in the past na mali. For current situation naman for Shinbu, so sa mga hindi nakakaalam, Shinbu is the one who did not, yun nga, go for uh, my request na mag-testify for me to get the justice that I'm looking for. Um, his take, actually, marami nagalit sa kanya after knowing that one. And as much as gusto kong tumahimik talaga, after ko ma-trigger, kasi yung post niya na nakapagpa-trigger sa akin is yung sinusumbat niya kay Zeus na
I saw that.
hindi siya nag-testify against him because he's a friend. So yun, I felt betrayed on that part totally, and I felt it's so wrong. Like alam mo yun, you committed some mistake na nga in the past and that you're gonna do this again this time, giving me that trauma na ma-trigger ulit. So nagsalita na talaga ako, and actually I sent him a PM first about that one. Actually, he PM'd me pala kasi nag-post ako ng public, like parang very emotional status na tinamaan siya but not pertaining to anyone. He PM'd me na siya ba yun? And yeah, I understood na siya and nag-sorry-sorry siya ulit doon. But yeah, I understand naman, maybe talaga minsan sa buhay makagawa ka ng mali.
Yes.
Ang Ang akin lang, siguro sa mga brands and organizations na lang, siguro, is the request ng konting delikadesa. Kasi may mga certain orgs pa rin na parang walang pake, like walang imek, like hindi man lang naglabas ng advokasya nila na kung ano ba yung tama na dapat gawin for the environment ng mga nakapaligid sa industry na to.
Mm-mm.
Like for the influencers, for the people that we affect. And walang ganun eh, like tuloy-tuloy pa rin. Okay, sige. May numbers pa naman tayo. Hindi ko sinasabi na ano, tanggalin nyo si Shinbu and all. You know, konting, ano lang, like, give us some time. Like, kunwari, weeks man lang, na let's clean this one up. Let us tell what the people, tell what is right sa mga tao na nare-reach natin. Pero kasi walang ganun nangyari for some. For some, Pero, there are organizations naman na mas marami rin naman sila na they stood for what is right. Yun nga, yun lang yung nakakapagpa-disappoint sa akin na alam mo yun, tuloy-tuloy pa rin as if it's nothing. And sinasabi pa nga nila na, you know, the people in the, yung mga ano lang, mga fans and followers lang na parang flavor of the week lang yan, na mamamatay din yung issue after some time. Parang ganun lang. And yun nga, yung mga victim blaming pa, dati mo ginawa yan, ganyan. And alam mo yun, yung mga nagsasabi pa na for numbers lang to, for viewership lang to. And, you know, it's hard kasi like sometimes hindi mo, as much as you don't mind yung mga sinasabi ng tao na to, maapektuhan ka kasi if, lalo na especially pag dumadami. That's why I got so emotional talaga this past few days to the point na talaga bumabalik yung ano ko, like yung depression and anxiety. Actually, bumalik siya.
Mm-mm.
It reached to a point na I had to take down, hindi naman take down pala, deactivate lang from social media para makapag-meditate ako sa sarili ko. And to be honest, I'm really sorry, but yeah, dumat nga naman ako sa suicidal thoughts na nangyari sa akin last 2 years ago kung saan hindi nyo nasa isip ko na I'm super afraid like kung anong iisipin ng tao sa akin and everything. And this past few days, dumating na naman ako sa point na yun kasi nga, apart from the events getting triggered ulit, yun nga, there are people and organizations na wala talagang delikadesa na nakakapagpa-apekto na, do they really care? Parang, wala, parang, alam mo yun, parang self-interest lagi yung iniisip eh. So, ayun, I just did my best para makapag-comeback. Although, naging mahirap siya. I don't know if, ano eh, siguro 4 days yun na naglaylo ako. Actually, on, off. Kasi hindi ako totally pwede mawala sa social media kasi it's part of my work eh. Like, I have to communicate with the people and, you know, I still have some contract na I cannot just, you know, become unprofessional just because of this. And, you know, it's part of the living kung saan tayo kumukuha ng ikabubuhay natin. So, yeah, yun lang. But, yeah, moving forward, I just wanna show that we can always come back. And although, yun nga, actually, yung sinasabi naman ni Shinbo sa akin, he told me, his last words to me, is yun nga, friend pa rin niya daw ako, although he became a stupid friend and all. And I guess, naiintindihan ko naman, talagang ang tao sometimes nagkakamali. And I believe we can all become a better person. And I just hope the people, the fans, the followers can just stop everyone, judging everyone. Me, Shinbu, Zeus, well, hindi naman kasi personality yung ex-boyfriend ko, so, but yeah, maybe we can include him, regardless if di niya siya kilala publicly. But, yeah, siguro i-judge na lang natin yung ginawa, not really the person, kasi, it makes things worse, like, especially, I do believe, like, it's not just me getting mentally affected, I believe it's also ng mga na-accused or yung mga naging ano. So, for sure, hindi ko alam like, I'm totally clueless if I'm a being kind pa rin ba na ang tanga ko na naman. Kasi may mga times na I cannot, I cannot judge myself kung tama pa rin ba yung iniisip ko or ginagawa ko because I'm going through this stage na, sometimes I'd rather blame myself because this topic, resurfaced again and then that's why I'm being emotional again and bumabalik na naman yung anxieties. I become anxious lang. Na ang dami mong ino-overthink na tama pa ba yung ginagawa ko, tama pa ba na mapagbigay ako, tama pa ba na okay lang na hindi ko nakuha yung justice tapos pinagbigyan ko sila. Alam mo, marami kasing sinasabing tao oh, nagpapansin ka na pala, hindi mo kinuha yung justice mo. Tuloy mo na yung kaso, ganyan. Kung hindi mo ituloy, nagpapansin ka lang. Pero at in some point, sinasabi ko na, I just wanna really give chance and nakapag-compromise naman na kami. So, ang daming pumapasok. Even now, I'm so confused. Yeah, like, maybe if you will notice, parang random na yung lumalabas siguro sa bibig ko because, ideas and thoughts are super random right now in my mind and it's bothering.
Well, we know that what you've been through was really hard, and we understand because, as we all know, like trauma causes people to act in different ways, and for us to be able to cope. So, I mean, it's totally understandable. We're really sorry that you had to go through all those things. We're sorry that you had to feel that from and hear those things from other people. And of course, not sabi nga nila, 'di ba? Minsan kasi mahirap mag-judge not unless ikaw mismo yung napunta sa posisyon na 'yon. It's easy for other people to say, kasi ganito, kasi ganyan. Pero when they're the ones who are put in that position, that's the only time that they will know and they will truly understand what that person is going through or has gone through. And ako naman kasi Bri, naiintindihan ko din naman kasi on the side of M. That's why ako personally I see the need, like especially sa mga industries like the esports industry, let's say boxing, MMA, professional basketball, professional football. As a high level athlete kasi, the mental faculties that you need to actually exercise and maintain is very high. Lalo si M, di ba, parang you mentioned that it is an obligation to a certain degree as a professional athlete to be conversing or to be communicating and to be connecting with your fans, di ba, with media, with your co-players. And is there any means of psychosocial health or mental wellness, siguro mga support na napo-provide sa inyo sa esports community?
I feel like that's one that is lacking. Before it's just all training, like okay, laro ka lang 8 hours a day, 4 hours per hours yung bawat batch. They can still even divide that, depende sa organization. It's just that. Tapos, nagkaroon ng addition ng physical fitness training, and that's a good thing. I commend that because hindi naman pwede kaming parang nakaslouch lang, tas laro-laro and all, and this is gonna hurt our, not only our figures, but of course, yung health namin physically. But I don't see sa organizations right now having this psychologist implemented in their orgs. Wala pa. But as far as I know, di ba sa mga like yung mga professional sports, physical sports, like they need some mental coaches, ganyan. But right now in any orgs I don't see. Like even the bigger orgs in the Philippines, I don't see any mental coach right now. Physical fitness coach they have a few orgs that I know na they actually proud themselves na meron sila and that's a good thing. Pero for mental and uh yeah, mental support wala pa. I
So
don't
wala talaga like mga siguro lalo ngayon kasi 'di ba pandemic, a lot of people have been affected na parang they don't have their normal routines. They don't, parang there's a certain sense of helplessness because you don't live your normal life
yeah,
anymore.
yeah.
Do you not have like a number to call to provide you with sa esports, sana provided din ng mga organizers or na na at least you can talk to someone who can coach you, who can guide you? Kasi you can just
Um,
imagine yung level of stress na binabanggit mo eh. Kasi while you're playing, you say that sometimes there is mental activity because you have to psych out the other party or the other team. Kaya nga minsan may trash talking pa, di ba, na nagaganap. So, wala talaga at all na parang kumbaga mga concerned entities or ano that reached out to the esports
um,
community.
unless you, kasi nung put ako ng revelation, like, doon lang nag-spread out yung awareness for, like, okay, when you're getting harassed in the industry, alam mo yun, it feels like only when someone puts up a topic, then organizations will, like, post something like, okay, we, support this, ganyan. And, okay lang, naintindihan ko, kasi of course, that's not their main goal. Their focus is on organizing tournaments and all. Pero yung part ng norm na, okay, naka-indicate dito sa mission vision ng org na to is that we support, like, anti-harassment, or we provide mental support, or like, they advocate having, um, making sure that their players will be having that good mental,
Fit,
health nga, fit, yeah.
fitness.
Pero wala. To be honest, wala. Like, I hope meron, like, I think kung siguro malalagyan ng ganung part, esports then is esports then will continue to grow, kasi 'di ba yun yung like, I know, like, kasi na ako sa mga, 'di ba meron yan sa mga di kasi ako masyadong aware sa mga physical sports na professional, but kasi nagkaroon ako ng research dati sa USA, yung mga ganyan na meron silang mga mental coach, physical fitness coach.
They also have nutritionists
Ayun
even.
pa, yan, nutritionist. Like, kompleto. Nagulat nga ako. Ganun pala sa, like, hindi lang laro-laro. So, maybe if it's something na mas, na ma-implement din sa esports, I think maganda yun. But, ang laki naman ng mga prize pool. Like, di ba? Like, why not add that in the investment? So, I think it's worth it. Kasi, like, alam mo yun, like, kasi iba yung if you're coming from a loss, di ba? Like, you have to be mentally prepared din na ma-accept na natalo ka, ganyan, mga ganun. Kasi may mga iba na de-depress, like ako na nag-manage ako ng team na, sometimes it's me that I will have, kahit di ako professional na, like, parang advisor for mental fitness or mental health. Like, ay, parang ina-adapt ko na lang yung parang ako bilang isang parent, how do you comfort your son? Parang ganun. Doon ko na lang ina-apply. Pero of course, this is me not coming from professional side. Pero you are aware that there is a battle that these players have to face kung natalo sila. Kasi even a player din ako eh. So, iba talaga yung like yung,
The mental
uh,
pressure that it
yeah,
exerts upon the athlete.
yeah.
Oo. At tingnan mo, Bria, just because of, di ba lahat kasi nakasentro dun sa dun sa naging issue. But then again, like moving forward, we see a lot of possible improvements with the esports industry that will not only benefit the athletes, but also possibly the stakeholders. Because if the stakeholders invest on mental health, then I'm guessing yung talagang turnover rate ng esports athletes. Kasi ang hirap din, di ba? You invest loads of money to be able to develop a team. And pag may isa dyang bumigay mentally, which is in a lot of cases, it does happen, wala na yung investment mo. But then again, if it's just a small chunk like what M said, of the prize money, if you divert that into that, the longevity of the athlete is somehow, well, not really assured, but somehow it can be extended.
Yeah.
Diba? It can be extended because you have an athlete who is happy and well, who is coping, 'di ba? So, maganda din naman. I know that what happened to you was not, I mean, it's not really something that is or that we would want to happen to other people. But I'm glad, Em, that you're taking steps to actually use it to advocate for these things. 'Di ba? Na something good is actually coming out of it. And it's making a lot of us realize the need for these things in the sports community. Kasi dati laro lang eh, 'di ba? Laro lang tayo, game, okay na.
Yeah.
Ganun simple.
Curious lang ako.
Um,
Yung, yung, what, yung boyfriend mo, yung, di ba you have a current boyfriend right now?
Yeah, current boyfriend.
So,
Yeah.
how is he, supporting you?
Um,
Kasi nasabi niya sa'yo.
yeah, actually kasi nangyari talaga yung crime mid 2018.
mhm.
Okay?
Kami pa noon nung actually early 2018, ito yung timeline na early 2018 pala nung transfer ni ex-boyfriend kay Zeus na best
Mhm.
friend niya yung video.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so early 2018 yon, and then mid 2018, I'm clueless clueless pa, all that whole year ng 2018. Tapos mid 2018, nung nag-transfer na si Zeus to different people, and he showed this to different people na clueless ako kung gaano kalaking, kung, kung gaano kadaming tao. But it was only early 2019, February, nung nalaman ko yun because of
Mm.
a concerned person. Bakit ang tagal? Like, parang 1 year, one whole year, di ba? From the file transfer to the to the time na nalaman ko. Sobrang tagal. So, does that mean like it's circulating like privately within the industry? I don't know kung sino mga na-transferan. Bakit only that time, only one people will tell me about that happening despite them knowing na ako naman to. Like, they know me. I speak publicly. I commentate games. And then why all of a sudden, dun ko lang malalaman.
Mm-hmm.
So, nagulat ako. And by the way, nag-break kami ng ex-boyfriend ko like sometime I think mid 2018 din. And then early 2019 kami na nun ng current boyfriend ko. So, nalaman niya yon, and then of course he was mad and all. Sometimes he would wanna threaten, and of course sinasabihin ko wag na kasi baka lalo lumala yung issue. But yeah, siya lang yung nasabihan ko. So I did not let my family know about it because I don't want them to, have any more problems. I don't want to be an addition. So it's just me and my boyfriend na napunta sa Camp Crame that time, as per advice nung kakilala ko na contact doon. So, ayun, he basically just helped me mentally and all. He advised na, of course, I don't go public about it then kasi baka ako lang, parang backlash ba sa akin?
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Backlash lang. Tapos hanapin ng mga tao yung video since it's kind of fresh.
Yes.
Baka lalo surface pa and all. And yeah, until he's super disappointed din naman kasi nga hindi nakuha yung justice, and he was kind of mad din kay Shinbu kasi nga hindi siya nag-testify. And yeah, both of us naman din clueless kasi wala akong lawyer so hindi namin alam yung subpoena. So we just let it go, and along the way, iniwasan na lang namin yung mga project involvements with Zeus. Although there was one time na we really had to go for a project with him kasi hindi alam ng organizers kasi I chose to be quiet.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, me, Shinbu, and Zeus, we got to be in one event na casual, just have to be professional and all, and just go with the flow. Tapos yeah, but I know during that time lahat kami we had this feeling na of course something is not right, and alam namin yon. And until ito nga, this past few weeks, nag-resurface yung event because of Shinbu, and yun. But all of this time naman supportive naman yung current boyfriend ko. And na kung ano man yung decision ko daw, and I think he said na he's proud of me kasi I get to encourage daw other people to speak, and na masiwalat yung baho na tinatago under esports. Well, hindi naman, I'm not, of course, I love esports. There's just some things that we must correct para maging safe to para sa lahat. Especially what worries me, like, di ba, I also encourage women in esports,
Mm-hmm.
and also gender diversity sa mga team. Like, it's a mix of girls and boys. We want to make sure na di ba, like, kunwari ako, may anak akong babae. Gusto ko sigurado safe yung anak kong babae sa mga kasama niya. Like, walang magda-drug sa kanya or anything, but just to take advantage of her. And I want na yung mga babae maging palaban, fight for their rights, respect themselves too. 'Di ba? So, Ayan. So, overall, I guess naman, ano, despite yung mga few people na tumitira sa atin, like, they blame us kasi nga, maybe they're a fan of someone else. I think overall, we made, ano, a good deed pa rin naman para ma-empower yung women to fight for what is right. And yun.
Pero alam mo, ano eh, yung attention na binibigay so it comes with the territory. Di ba, ano, kala sikat ka, marami pumapansin, mas marami ka ring hate.
Mm-mm.
Oo. I've come across a lot of people also who say parang I am not where I am without my haters.
Yes, true.
Diba? Kasi actually, mas binabantayan ka pa nga ng haters mo eh. Truth be told. Mas sinishare ka pa nila. Kasi yung ngit-ngit, yung galit nila is always there. And, well, joke's on them.
Yeah.
Because the more that they try to destroy you, inadvertently, they build you up. 'Di ba? Because that is what happens. Like, let's say, yan sila Lebron, Kobe,
Mm.
numerous haters. As in, 'di ba? Pero, at the same time, those haters are the ones who actually share their posts, 'di ba? Tapos magko-comment sila, ay, tignan mo nga to si Kobe, ganyan-ganyan, ano pinagsasabi nito? Pero dumami yung shares ni Kobe.
That's a
'Di
fact.
ba?
Yun, kaya,
Mm-mm.
kung
Pero,
mawawala yun.
oh,
Talaga.
pero Brian, even if it does come with the territory, it's different kasi like we women, we experience discrimination differently. Eh. Like you don't get men, 'di ba, being discriminated for how they look like. It's very rare. Unlike with women, we get discriminated for the clothes that we wear. We get discriminated for the way that we speak. 'Di ba? That is not part of gameplay. That is far from gameplay. And I think that's also something that we need to somehow change in terms of our mentality. Well, of course, I'm not dictating anything upon the fans, but I also want the fans and also our fellow sports broadcasters to appreciate that as women, parang level up na din tayo, 'di ba? Na parang meron eh, the same amount of skill, the same amount of effort, time, sacrifices. Minsan, di ba, if not the same, even more for some people. So, di ba, focus tayo sa game, not with what I wear, not with how I speak. Di ba? So, yun lang. Like, with M, di ba, she was being ostracized for what?
Mm.
And still she's standing there, 'di ba? Still she attended this interview. And that takes guts. That takes a lot of guts. When you see her, 'di ba, at the trying to keep herself together despite just to speak out, just to make things better for an industry that she has poured her heart and soul into. Yun. And ito, I just want to communicate to you as well that well, well, through the efforts of Chairman Bahamitra also, he is already pushing for reforms in creating safe spaces for the vulnerable population, especially women in professional sports. And it was also because of the revelation that you were able to bring upon, di ba? You brought upon that issue na parang, okay, oo nga. Tapos there's WNBL pa, Brian. So,
Mm.
the more that we need these things, these safeguards, because we need to protect our women also. Ang hirap naman na parang, oh, we invite them na, okay, sige, you come and play. But then again, di ba? So, I know naman na parang on the side of, well, I can personally attest that on the side of GAP, that we are currently and actively advocating for this. And I'd like to extend also in behalf of the agency to M, yung kanyang naging decision to come out with something publicly that is not, this is not easy eh.
Yes. Totoo yun.
No matter how much, di ba kasi napapansin, ganito, ganyan, o ano, this is not easy. Not for anyone. So, pwede naman siya mag-TikTok kung gusto niya magpapansin eh. Di ba?
Ayaw.
Lang siya.
Hindi, ako rin, I'm a firm believer na you stumble, sometimes you do stumble, but when you get up, mas dodoble pa yung mo, yung angat mo.
Mm-mm.
It's happened to, for me, it's happened to me a lot of times already.
Ako, I only believe in karma then.
Karma, that's another.
Yeah, I believe in karma. There's just two, it's just good or bad, and yeah. So kung naniniwala naman ako na ano like whatever yung nangyari this recently, it's part of siguro yung flow ng karma. I don't know. So, but yeah, tiwala lang.
Tsaka yung siguro kung advice ako kay Emma from one parent to another, yung sinasabi mo
Mm-mm.
kanina you had those suicidal thoughts again.
Yeah.
Before you do that again, advice ko sa'yo, tawagin mo, tignan mo anak mo, yakapin mo na lang, kesa kung ano pang iniisip mo, sa kanya mo lang ibuhos. That's what I do, for me.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for allowing us to interview you. We know that things have been difficult for you within the past few weeks, but still you're standing strong. Well, as to wrap this up, right? I'd want to ask for her message towards women in
Mm.
Philippine sports, 'di ba? As someone who has somehow stood the test of time, you're still standing strong. So, do you have a message for our fellow migas out there?
Mm. Yes. Fellow migas. Yan. Fellow migas na rin ako. Ah, yan. Normal lang yung bashers. So, if you get disappointed, just let yourself be disappointed. Just take it in. Kung iiyak kayo, iiyak nyo. Kung masasaktan kayo, hayaan nyo lang. Kasi just like, whatever happened, most probably sa inyo in your life, lilipas din yan. So even maybe for some people, they always say, you're so strong and all. I have my down times too. So tao lang din kasi ako, di ba? But the tip here na lang din siguro is to just, take everything in and then just let it pass. Kasi for sure lilipas din naman yan, and then you can just come back stronger, and then just basically not give a fudge about it. Tapos yun na, tuloy-tuloy na lang yung gagawin nyo, kung anong goal nyo, focus lang kayo doon. Tapos if you really cannot control, i-block nyo na lang. I mean, kung yun talaga yung makakapagbigay sa inyo ng peace of mind, i-block nyo na lang. And for whatever the people are saying to you, like for example, you're an aspiring shoutcaster, if they're bashing you in the live streams, ignore it and just continue doing. You are there in your position because you have the guts and your clients trust you. So, mas maniwala kayo sa sinasabi ng client kaysa sa sinasabi ng random people and ng mga dummies. Dummy account kasi. So, yeah, just believe in yourself, and I think for as long as we fight for what we can do, for what is right, magiging ano rin yan, magiging continuous, and hindi tayo matatalo if we continue fighting. We'll only lose if we stop trying.
True.
Yan lang.
Thank you very much, for those inspiring words. I know a lot of women will, later on, be successful taking those things to heart, diba? It always helps naman, Brian, that we learn from other people's mistakes. So,
True.
yun.
It
So,
doesn't hurt to cry. Even I cry at times. Pag kayo talaga sobrang, ay naamin ko ako umiyak ako. And,
don't we all?
eh?
Don't we all?
Diba? It's different eh. Kasi iba yung kinikip mo inside eh. Iba yung sa ilabas mo rin. Diba? Ikaw, Ma'am Josa, anong final words mo? Just a bubble.
Sa bubble. Hi. Sa aming kalam bubble na biosecure.
Okay.
Well, um, I personally learned a lot from this episode, right? Kasi ako, di ba, as a parent, as a woman myself, and I learned a lot from the people like who is more than willing to pour her heart out to people just to make a difference.
Mhm.
And hindi lang kasi ano siya, it's not just parang it's not just a sexual harassment issue, it's everything else.
True.
'Di ba? People just focus too much on the sexual harassment element of it. But then again, if we put all of those safeguards in place that she has been advocating about mental health, involvement of parents, then maybe the future esports leaders will be more well guided, diba? And these things can be avoided.
True.
So, there. So, for everyone, maraming salamat po sa patuloy niyong pagsuporta sa Sports Bytes. If you want to follow me, my Facebook is Cara Malyonga and my Instagram is Oranes. But before we end this, I would like to also promote her social media handles.
Yeah. Please do.
Yes, you can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. The handle is Kaisaya PH. Yan. Kaisaya PH. Proud Pinoy eh. PH. Yan.
Age talaga. Ayan.
Oh.
How about you, Rai? What's your takeaway from this episode?
Actually, muntik na akong maiyak kanina eh. Ako yun.
Okay lang naman yun.
Hindi.
Talagang pinag-usapan namin ni Em, paiiyakin ka namin.
Ganun.
Challenge.
Anyway, ako I'm just thankful na kasi actually yung totoo dito is medyo nakakuha ko ng idea when I was editing yung sakit sa ulong ginawa ni Cara tsaka ni Rika. I was not editing it eh. Yung so sabi ko, nung pinapakinggan ko, doon may nakakuha na ako ng idea, okay. Tapos yung binago ni Cara, sakto, tama-tama, yun, nag-iiba yung storya. Which turns out to be educational for me, especially if you're a parent, and for mga taong into esports and everything like that. So, thank you, M. It was very informative, and thank you for opening up to us. Kumbaga, it's been weeks. Binilin ako yung mga it's been weeks, nothing's been, it's good to know what's the latest with you. Tapos, yun. Tapos, thank you, Cara. Kahit na sa bubble ka, talagang maasahan.
Siyempre, may hindian ba kita? Ipaglabas ko ng bubble, may ice cream ako.
Akala ko Well, anyway, to all our viewers, thank you. We hope you enjoyed this very special episode with M. Dangla, also known as
Kaisaya.
Thank you very much, everyone. Maraming salamat.
Catch us on our next episode. We will to find out who, you just have to stay and subscribe to our page. Good night. God bless. Bye-bye.
Everyone, bye.